Hi, I'm İlkay and welcome to my tutorial series Lightning Sibelius. Today I'm going to present you my new Composer Orchestrator Macro set. But before we start, I strongly suggest you to watch the previous chapter, so the 9th Symphony of Bob Zawalich, the Execute Commands family, because to be able to use all these macros and plugins, you need to download and understand how to use Execute Commands plugin family. Okay, let's start. I will present you 35 command macros plus 11 auxiliary plugins, which belongs to my Composer Orchestrator set, and also some of the macros from my work in progress engraver set. You might use these programs as a command macro inside Run Command Macro plugin, or you can also make a custom third-party plugin from them. You can find a very detailed information about how to turn them into a third-party plugin in my previous chapter. But I prefer to use them as a command macro to get a Run Command Macro plugin, because with this way I can modify them anytime I want by importing to the Execute Commands plugin. So we might say that this chapter is going to be only a show run, and let's run our Run Command Macro plugin and let's take a look. As soon as you import this set, you will see that all the macros have been ordered in the most intuitive way. For example, when you look at the numbers 1 through 5, you will see the different filtering options for different note lengths. Number 1 is 32nd note because you can trigger it via keypad with the same number, and 2 for the 16th, and 3 for the 8th, so on and so forth. So this won't be any difficult to remember because you always use these numbers for these note lengths. At the slot 0, there is the remove articulations command because this is what you get as soon as you run the plugin as the basic setup. So I fixed this command to number 0, so anytime I call it, I know 0 removes every articulations. For example, at the KB, you see transpose top note and octave below command, so you can remember it from the below word. And the contrary of this is the transpose below note and octave up, so you can remember it from the letter U. Make into bar is at the letter M, filter tuplet is at the T. The long orchestral roll is at the letter Z because this long tremolo reminds me Z letter. Shift everything to next bar is at the letter D, and shift everything to previous bar is at the letter C. So this is the best part of this plugin, that you can simply call any of these commands by hitting to the corresponding keys, and it makes everything so easy. Okay, let's start and let's run them one by one. The very first command you will notice when I run the Run Command Macro is the remove accidentals. Okay, I suggest to use it in this way, and I always uncheck this to remember the last macro run. So whenever you run the Run Command Macro, you will always have this at the very first slot. And I use this to remove accidentals. For example, let's run it. As you see, it works perfectly. My next 5 commands are filtering options. I call them lightning filtering options because if I wouldn't have used this, I needed to use advanced filter. It's a great tool, but before you do a filtering, you need to tweak lots of settings here, and I find this much more easier and faster. For example, I want to filter every 8th here, and boom, it filters me every 8th. Or for example, I want to filter here every 16th notes, boom, and I put, I don't know, staccato on them or whatever. So this works really well and fast. So the next 5 are my filtering commands. As you see, I can filter halves, quarters, 8th, 16th, and 32nd notes, my most used note lengths. Okay, let's continue with the 6th one, the long orchestral roll 2. This is another variant of my long orchestral roll plugin, and which is at the Z ladder. I'm going to show you both, so let's going to show it in an orchestral score. Let's say that I want to have a long bass drum crescendo here, and I make my selection and I run my macro, so boom, it does everything automatically. And let's say that I want to put a fortissimo here, so I just come here and I choose it and I put my dynamic, so it's a way long crescendo. Perfect. Let me show you also the second one, which is at the letter Z. So I just cancel the selection, I put my first note and I choose my selection and I run my long orchestral roll 2 plugin. And what's the difference here? It adds me the forte at the very end note, and it just cancels the tremolo at the very end note. So it's like pata pata pata pata pata pata pata boom. So yeah, everything is ready here. Okay, let's continue with the 7th one, which is the remove articulations. As you can understand, it removes the articulations of the selection. So I make my selection and I run my command, and it cleans everything. So I don't need to tweak everything one by one from my keypad. You know, this was the before situation, so I'm not going to hit everything one by one. All I need to do is run my command, and everything is clean. My next two commands, diminished fifth down copy and minor third down copy, are particularly useful, especially when I compose. You can also customize these intervals. You don't need to use diminished fifth down copy or minor third down copy particularly, but I use them a lot, so I wanted to put them also on my run command macro list. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. What I'm going to do is I choose this line and I want to run my diminished fifth down copy command, and when I paste it, it pastes me already diminished fifth down version of the selection, and I'm going to repeat it for the diminished third down copy, and when I paste it, it pastes me already minor third down. Sorry, I was wrong, I said diminished third, it was minor third, and it pastes me already minor third down of the selected line. Yeah, and I have here both vertically and horizontally diminished chords. And here comes my next two commands, cross down a staff note and cross up a staff note. These are particularly useful when you write, engrave, or compose for grand staff instruments such as piano or harp or etc. Okay, what basically it does this. Yeah, and it's cross down a staff note version. These are particularly time saver because without these commands, these would have required lots of time. My next two commands are transpose top note and octave below, and transpose below note and octave up. These are particularly useful when you orchestrate, and let me give you an example here. Let's say that I want to copy all this horn in C line to the pistons. But when I copy that, I realize that the below note is really very low. So what I'm going to do is I bring the below note and octave up. It works perfectly. The contour of this is also possible. I copy my pistons line to a horn in C, and then I want to bring one octave below the top note, and I also bring down the line one octave down. Okay, let's continue with the next two commands. Shift everything to previous bar, shift everything to next bar. As you can understand, these commands shifts the selection to next bar or to the previous bar. And let's continue with filter and add fingering to notes command. I was wanting to add this also my work in progress engraving set, and this will be probably also inside there. Okay, what this basically do, you make your selection, and when you run plugin, it makes it ready for fingering entry. So let's say that 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. I'm just throwing the numbers because it's going to be an example. So yeah, and voila, everything is ready. Okay, the next one is filter notes and chords. Now you might be curious why I have added this command to run command macro list, because you can also get this by writing to the command search. But I would like to show you a little demonstration of it so you can understand it much better. Okay, let me go this file, and let's say that, let me first clean my violin. Okay, let me say that I need to make an arrangement for this piano quintet, and here I want to bring my piano line, the tap notes of my piano line, to the violin one. So what I'm going to do is, of course, I'm not going to make an arrangement like this, but this is just going to be an example. I'm copying everything one stuff above, and then I'm going to run my advanced filter. I reset everything first. Then I'm going to choose not in chord, and I choose tap notes because I want to cancel all below notes, because this is going to be for violin. So I'm going to clean it and I'm going to rearrange it. I'm going to clean it from the pianistic writing. Okay, I'm going to choose everything else of the tap notes. I want to keep also grace notes. And I'm going to choose deselect. What advanced filter does, it selects everything, also the rests. But I want to keep the rests. So what I'm going to do is I run my filter notes and chords command, and boom, it chooses only, but only the below notes of all line. So I'm going to show that to you, and as you see, it kept also my grace notes, and I'm going to clean everything, all this pianistic writing, by only hitting to K delete, and voila, everything is clean right now. And I'm going to reset everything, and I have also a more beautiful look on my grace notes. Okay, for the next one is nothing particularly special because it does only add Trill command, and you might be curious why I have added this here, because I don't want to assign a specific shortcut for adding trills, but I also use add trill command a lot, so I just wanted to use this, and it does this job. Okay, the next one makes chosen words initial uppercase, so I'm going to give another live example for that. Let's say that I want to add pizzicato all these parts, all these string section, and let me add the pizzicato first. But as you see, the word initial is not the uppercase, and what I'm going to do is I run my command and it makes everything beautiful looking. Okay, my next two commands are flip notes up and flip notes down. Okay, I'm going to give live example also for that. Let's say that I want to keep all stems here down, and I just run my flip notes down command and everything is down right now. Or the contrary is flip notes up, and all my stem directions are up right now. Okay, the next one was particularly time saver for me when I was working on the Rachmaninoff 3 concerto piano solo transcription, and which is called Easy Peasy Triplet. And I'm going to show you a live example of it. In this huge project, this is the section 13. Yeah. As you see, Rachmaninoff used a lot this model of triplet. And in Sibelius, writing triplets is not particularly easy peasy. So that's why I called this command as the easy peasy triplet. And let me show you in a live demo. So in a live situation, I just run my Run Command Macro and I run my easy peasy triplet. And what it does is it does this model of triplet, and it runs re-input pitch. So all I need to do is to hit the K notes, G, E, and I can also continue to do this. For example, I don't know, D, F, again, F, A. So as you see, now it's just a piece of cake to enter this model of triplet. If not, I had to do this. Add triplet, then hit escape, then make the model, then choose this, so on and so forth. So it makes everything much easier. Okay, the next two one are Appoggiatura and Accaccatura. So adding these two little notes are really not funny in Sibelius, and I just automized a way to make it more funny. Okay, what I'm going to do is I choose my note and I run my Appoggiatura command, and it adds me a 16th value Appoggiatura, and it's already ready to be changed. So all I need to do is change the pitch. So G or I don't know, whatever, D. So you can also change the value by hitting the note lengths. Yep, and it works also for Accaccatura, and let me show that too. And run my Accaccatura, and yeah, voila. So all I need to do is hit the note name, F in this case, and I can also add a slur, and voila, everything is much more easier. Okay, my next command is move second voice to left, and it does what is written. I mean, it moves the second voice to the left of the first voice. I do not know if this might be particularly useful for you, but if it's not, just contact me and we can just change it to another more useful one for your workflow. Okay, the next one is a fantastic one, which is make into bar free rhythm command. So let me show you a live demonstration of it. And yeah, let's say that I want to make all these 3 bars into 1 bar. And what I'm going to do is I do my selection and I run my command. And as you see, it makes me 1 long bar. And as you see, Sibelius updates me also the bar numbers automatically. Okay, the next one, bracket Notehead. What it does exactly, it adds bracket to the selected noteheads. Another variant of it does exactly the same thing to the selected text entries, which is at the letter P. And this one works for any kind of text entries. And as you see, both works perfectly. Okay, the next one is at the letter R, and it is filter and hide rests. This one is particularly useful for cadenza kind of situations. I know this is not a cadenza, but it's going to be good since it has lots of rests around. All you need to do is select the bar and run the command. It will filter all the rests and it will hide them. Okay, the next one, which is at the letter S, and it is double bar line. It basically changed the selected bar line to a double bar line. And if you think that this is not going to be useful for you, we can always change it. At the letter T, we have filter tuplets. And what basically it does not filter tuplets, but it filters the numbers and the brackets of the tuplets. So in this way, you can change their directions easily, or you can just hide them. Otherwise, you need to make your selection and you need to go to inspector. And from the inspector, you need to find the tuplets and you need to change from there. But it's really very long workflow, and every time I do not want to do this. So that's why I have made a command which filters only the numbers and the brackets of the tuplets. At the letter V, we have last bar cautionary time signature. And what exactly this does? When you work in huge projects, you need to divide it into sections sometimes. And when you divide it into sections, the new section can start with a different time signature. For example, this section comes after this one, starts with a 5/4 time signature. So what I'm going to do is I just click the last bar line and I run my last bar cautionary time signature. And then I'm going to write here 5/4, and the command cleans everything inside the bar and it hides also the last bar line. So what I need to do is just shrink the bar to the very last point, and I have my cautionary time signature. Okay, the next one is filter and delete all dynamic slurs and articulations. Basically, it cleans everything inside the selection. So, as you see, only notes are left. And here comes the very last command, which is repeat to next bar with an 8th note. And what it does exactly is this. Let's say that you want to have a very elegant diminuendo and you want to vanish. So you can make your selection here, you can run the command, and what the command does is it adds an 8th note to the next bar and it ties it to the previous note. So you can just then add a diminuendo, and you can also add a pianissimo here. So it will do a very elegant job. Here comes my 11 auxiliary plugin set, which I'm really in love with every one of these. You will not see these in my Run Command Macro plugin list because I will run each one of them by their own assigned shortcuts, because I want to call them via 1K hit, so this keeps me work in lightning speed. My auxiliary plugins are copy stuff below, copy stuff above, move stuff below, move stuff above, filter first notes, filter last notes, go to first bar, paste intelligently, select all page, optimize and reset note spacing, select first note and re-input pitch. Okay, and here comes copy stuff below, copy stuff above, and move stuff below, move stuff above plugins. I'm going to make my selection and I run it by hitting its shortcut. And as you see, it copied everything to the stuff below. And let's give an example from the copy stuff above plugin, and again I make my selection and I run it by hitting its shortcut, and voila. And here comes an example from move stuff above plugin. Sorry, I was wrong. Move stuff above plugin. Here it is. And let's make another example from move stuff below plugin. As you see, everything works perfectly. Okay, let's continue with filter first notes and filter last notes. This is particularly useful when you work on orchestral scores and when you need to apply multiple instances to multiple selections. So what I'm going to do is I just make my selection and I run my filter first notes and I do my dynamic entry. Then I keep with my selection and I choose my very last note and I add another dynamic and I continue with my selection and boom. As you see, filter first notes filters the very first note of the bar or of a selection, and filter last note filters the very last note of a bar or of a selection. The next plugin might be the most triggered plugin of mine, which is go to the first bar and bring the view to the first page, and it does this job. So let's say that we are in the middle of a project and you have your playback line here and you want to go to the beginning and you want to bring your playback line here and you want everything to be ready to be pressed on the spacebar and to be played. Okay, so if you do this, as you see, your view is not in the first page. So what I'm going to do is, okay, I bring here again my playback line. I just run this plugin by hitting its shortcut and my view is at the first page. So I'm ready to follow my score and my playback line is at the very beginning of my score. So all I need to do is to hit the button space. Okay, let's continue with the next one, paste intelligently. There's a one thing of Sibelius that I'm not very big fan of it, and which is this. I want to copy all these instruments to another instrument, okay? So look what happens when I paste it. Sibelius brings my view to the very end of the page, and I don't want this because I want to keep pasting it to other instruments. So what I'm going to do is, after I have copied this instrument and this stuff, instead of pasting it by using Ctrl-V, so the paste shortcut, I'm going to use my paste intelligently shortcut. And look what happens. My view remains exactly in the same place and it doesn't change. So I can keep pasting it to other instruments. As you see, my view doesn't change. And this works really very good when you want to do especially multiple copy and paste operation. Okay, my next commands are select all page and select all page, optimize and reset note spacing. Okay, the select all page plugin, what it basically does is this. It's a fast way to make a passage selection of whole the page. So you just choose a bar or clicked on a note and then run the plugin by hitting its shortcut, and boom, as you see, it makes a passage selection of the whole page. And what is my second plugin? Select all page, reset note spacing, and optimize. So let's say that you have a mess. I hope you are not going to have such a mess. Anyhow, you just click on a bar or click on a note again and run the plugin by hitting its shortcut. And oops, sorry. Yeah, I was wrong. And it does everything automatically for you. Okay, and here comes the last plugin, which is select first note and re-input pitch. So let's say that I want to copy this one octave below, and I want to keep the same rhythmic values, but I want only change the pitch. So if I use this command, it automatically selects the first note of the selection, and it makes me ready re-input pitch. You have seen a variant of this with the easy peasy triplet. So then you can just enter your new pitches and the rhythmic value will be the same. And lastly, I would like to show you some plugins macros from my work in progress engraver set. With Run Command Macro, you can have 35 macros for each set, and by the time being, I'm working on my new engraver set. So here are some examples. First of all, let me show you the very first one I use a lot, which is filter all texts and align in a column. So I wanted to fix this to the slot 0, so I just can quick access that. And time to time I get from my clients some files which the text items are not really aligned in the column, and to fix this I just make my selection and I run my command, and as you see it puts everything in order perfectly. Okay, let me show you another one, which is filter hairpins and align in a column. And this is a thing that I encounter really much. And to fix this, I just do my selection and I run my filter hairpins and align in a column command. And as you see, it works perfectly. And another variant of it is this. And this is also another thing I encounter really much. And to fix this, I run my filter dynamics and align in a row command. And as you see, everything works perfectly. And let me show you for the all system the same command. And filter dynamics and align in a row. Exactly, here you are. This is another one I use a lot when I do my lead sheets. So I have this example here, and as you see, the chord symbols or chord texts are not aligned well in a row. So what I'm going to do is to select all the score, and I'm going to run my filter chord symbols and align in a row command. And voila, everything is perfect right now. And another very useful command is the reset space above, reset space below. So just come here and run reset space above and reset space below, and everything works perfectly. Okay, the next one is align staves. So this is really very useful one, and it works really good, especially for these kind of busy looking scores. So what I'm going to do it, I'm going to choose the page I want to align all the staves, and I run my command, and it brings me this menu, and I just click on OK. And as you see, right now everything is equal and aligned. And yes, I hope you liked the video and I hope you find it useful. If so, please click on the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Meantime, you can also follow Lightning Sibelius page on Facebook, and if you want to support my channel, you can donate it via PayPal button up here. Thank you so much and see you soon with another mind-blowing Lightning Sibelius chapter.